Can you invest in those countries to get influence faster? Probably. Yes, you can. I could invest 4,000 in order to have them improve some of their railroads. So yeah, let's go ahead and do that. We'll invest in their railroads for them. We'll do it in both of these. We have been discredited, so Hungary has seen what we're doing there. So our relations with Austria are now going to rise really slowly, so we're just going to decrease our priority there right down, so we're not wasting points on that. Another thing that we probably ought to do is improve the strength of our army, although we actually have the second strongest army in the world. One of the nice things about having a big army is they're expensive, which is actually a good thing because it means that your factories and things have work. They are supplying your armies, and that in turn generates cash. We are becoming far more conservative. Liberals being absolutely trounced in the last polls. Alliance from Tver doesn't really benefit me. Switzerland. Is anybody else going after Switzerland? No. So the Swiss are now friendly, so once we have 100 relations with the Swiss, we can add them to our sphere. Yeah, probably. Bavaria. So Bavaria is now also friendly, so we're securing our coal supplies, which will be very important going forwards. You know what? Because we are industrializing fairly rapidly, I'm going to increase our tariffs. I'm also going to increase how much these guys are paying. I was a little bit too generous. And Tver really wants that alliance. Okay, so we now have over 1,000 investors, and they're just splashing the cash around, building the railroads and stuff, so I don't need to as a state, which is quite nice. Alliance from Cannon-Borno? Nah. Oh wait, what was that? Hungary? Where? Oh, they just discredited us again. Fine. Alliance from Ansbach? No thanks. We're still earning a lot of money. Alright. Turn that down to 15%. So we have 24,000 in the bank. Paper mill in Sinai. Build it. Oh, cement factory in the Aegean. Yes, I want that. Build it. Alright, I now feel like I can turn off my two focuses and change those to craftsmen instead. Croatia's got a factory. Does Lombardy actually have a factory being built? No, Lombardy doesn't. Alright, in that case I'm going to focus Venice instead of Lombardy. So encouraging a certain population type basically makes your farmers and miners and everything like that convert their profession to being craftsmen. So you get more of that profession in a certain state, so you can kind of direct which way the local economy is going. So if you want to get a lot of factories very quickly, you want to be encouraging craftsmen. And quite honestly, that's, as a an industrial nation, you'll be using that pretty heavily, pretty often. Ooh. I feel like Ethiopia might be getting ready for a war against the Ottomans here. And we have all of our diplomatic points again. So, I think I should probably beef up my relations with my allies. Well, my great power allies. And then also I think the guys that I'm trying to sphere right now. Because having higher relations does increase your opinion speed. And yeah, clerks as well, I know. Generally clerks promote much slower though, so I tend to do those later. That's a lot of railroads we're building. Thank you, private construction. Oh, a lumber mill. We want those, because we produce a lot of timber. So yes, I will invest in that. I think that's a great idea. Zigunishore Botanical Expedition. Rumours abound in botanical circles that France has launched a botanical expedition to Zigunishore. According to the rumours, the flora of Zigunishore is a veritable cornucopia of beauty and biological diversity. While that place is a French colony, we could attempt to send an expedition of our own. Might be frowned upon, but the discoveries we could make do have a strange allure of their own. Yeah, absolutely, send it. Get us some more prestige. Prestige is one of the 3 things that factors into your total rating. So we want to make sure that we keep that high. Okay, we are making so much money right now. Let's invest in education. And we can sphere somebody. Oh, is sphere only... Hang on, who are you saying I can sphere? Oh, Austria. Oh! Now that's interesting. So Denmark are no longer considered a great power. Sorry, not Denmark. Hungary are no longer considered a great power. They were supplanted by Transaxonia. And once you lose your great power status, you can no longer do the sphering options. So my discredit has just run out. So we are actually ahead of everybody else here. So I'm going to improve my opinion in Austria. And so we might actually get Austria despite the fact we were discredited. So long as we continue investing. So I'm actually going to beef you up to level 3 and I'm going to keep these guys at level 2. Because we have no competition for those. And then also I think Austria. I'd like to improve relations. Okay. Military access from England. Who are they fighting? England's at war with Norway. That's not really a surprise considering Norway owns Scotland. No, I want that war to continue. Do clerks need pops with 50% literacy to be promoted in vanilla? They might well do. Because in my Yas game I had a literacy of 7% and it was impossible to get clerks. I'm losing money, but I also have 28,000 banked, so I'm not too concerned about that. Okay, Switzerland. I can now add Switzerland to my sphere. Bish. That's our first one. So we now have first dibs on any goods that Switzerland produces, and likewise we have first dibs on their market as well. So if we're trying to sell anything, then the Swiss will buy from us first. And I suspect it also means that the Swiss can buy from our, like, community market and then from the world market. So it is a benefit for the guys in the sphere as well. Bavaria soon's going to be in it as well. Bish. Add to sphere. Right, so both of these guys can have their influence drop down to 1. So we're investing really heavily in Austria right now. Right, how's the industrialization going? We're still just building factories. We could upgrade the clothing factory, and honestly, clothing tends to sell super well. So if we look at the trade thing, if we go to regular clothing, the price is just spiked. There's a huge demand for it. I think that the general population in this game is higher than vanilla, so there's far more demand for like the regular goods. Wine is another one that does really well. Cloth. Making fabric's dropping. Alright, so fabric in my Yas game was just off the charts. But I suspect that demand for fabric will go up as people try to meet the demand for clothing. Who's winning the Hungary war? Not Hungary. 28% in favour of Kazan, and they've actually added another war goal. So they're taking 2 states rather than just the 1. And then in the other war, Theodoro attacked Hungary. Wow, everyone's jumping in on them. And then there was one more, wasn't there? Or they pieced out that one? They've apparently pieced out that one. Right, next thing I want to do is, can I get an alliance with these guys? Yes. Ah, so you are limited in how many alliances. Swahili, no thanks. And we're almost out of money again. So we need to tweak education back down to 90%, I would say. See if that balances out. Yeah, actually it does. Still a minor negative, but we can hold on to that until some of our factories are built, and then we should start making some more cash rather rapidly. Alliance with Bavaria. That one I will accept. So we just built a thing. I think that was probably the arms factory. Yeah, so the arms factory in Venice is now being built. We do need a source of ammunition from somewhere. Currently we're relying on artisans and ammunition from other sources. Let me just double check how many of those. There's almost no demand for ammo. Like, their price is sinking. Which is good for us because it means that we're going to be able to produce guns better, although there's also no demand for those. Well, in that case, I would say that we should probably try to artificially create a demand for guns. So we're going to tax the artisans for the honour of that. Don't want alliance with Songhai. I want to see that Yas game. You know what? I was super tempted to do this stream with Yas instead of the Knights. Maybe in the future I will, because it was actually surprisingly good. Because you are precisely one state in size. And it's a pretty good one. Like, you have a population of just under 1 million in that. You produce... You're hugely... you are really, really, really reliant on a super important crop as Yas. Opium. Your biggest export by far is opium. Like, 2 of your 4 provinces are opium producers. So you basically set your peasants to work, produce a bunch of opium, sell the opium, then reinvest the opium cash into building factories. Also, you're one of the few slave states in the world. The slavery is still a thing, which means the opium production's even more efficient. Now it's beginning to sound suspiciously like my Triad game on Hearts of Iron. Nuremberg wants an alliance. I don't think that benefits me. Okay, once again we're making tons of cash. So I think... Oh no, I want money because I'm trying to build an army. Right. Build army. Regular infantry. And we want to do this in... You know what? We are going to build these in Africa and we'll ship them over to Europe. 1 from each. That's 24 of those. We'll get some artillery as well. Get the artillery from Turkey. And some cavalry. Do I have any Polish cavalry available? No. We'll go with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Although actually cavalry will be replaced later. Once hussars and cuirassiers and things become available, so don't get cavalry. It's a bad idea. Ooh, I can do a thing. Austria! Add to sphere. We did it! And we are in fact the only great power to get people in our sphere already. Because I've been focusing that rather heavily. We are also industrializing super well. We're the 2nd biggest industrial power. Which sets us up really nicely for later. will I be linking up the African holdings? That's not a bad shout. We'll need to take down Tunis, but I'm not averse to doing that. And maybe come through the centre here and Kenembrono. So we need to take out Tunisia and Libya. So if we go to Tunisia, diplomacy, justify, acquire state. We'll start working on Tunisia. And now we're losing money, but that's because we're buying in all the guns and things, which is also going to be providing a huge demand for my gun production. See, we're making money. That's the state basically giving contracts to the private investors, who then use that money to pay their workers, who then pay taxes back to me. We were detected already? Ah. That's a lot of craftsmen in Venice. Yeah, I kind of slowed down on building factory. That's a lot of fertilizers. Why are you guys so crazy about fertilizers right now? And why is that one so much cheaper? Oh, because it's already been heavily invested in. You know what? I'm going to say go ahead and invest in that one. And that's going to completely bankrupt me. So we're going to up our tariffs. We'll probably go into a bit of debt, but we have 133,000 in our national bank, so we can afford to go in a bit of debt. Ottomans are at war. The Ottomans are at war. They are fighting against Ethiopia. Ethiopia and Persia, so the build-up of troops that I saw down here obviously was with a reason. Alliance offer from Theodoro. I think it's hilarious that you're still alive, but no. Slight change in the upper house, but nothing particularly important. Conservatives still very much in vogue. And we are now third in terms of great powers. We just overtook France, who is at war, unsurprisingly. Seriously, France is always at war. Who are they? They're at war with China. Oh, that's a... Yeah, okay. So France is allied usually with Siam. And Siam gets attacked quite a lot by China. And France is actually a pretty good ally and sticks with them. Plus France does have some holdings out here, I think. Actually, no, they don't. Oh, there's one. It's actually Ethiopia who's the major power out here, and Castile, obviously, and also the Ottomans have some holdings. But yeah, France and China, that's a big one. Oh, also, I've got all of my spheres, so I can start to invest in somebody else. So what resources am I short on? Still coal. Coal is not in high demand though, so there's going to be some on the market, but I'd rather be as self-sufficient as possible. Oh, Austria owns all of this. I thought Austria was just that. Okay, Austria's bigger than I expected. Awesome! Is Prussia a great power yet? Oh, now I'm second. Just overtook the China. No, Prussia is not a great power, so we could try and sphere Prussia. Hell, why not? Huge amounts of resources there, so let's go ahead and improve our relations with them a couple of ticks. They're 9th, so they're almost a great power. But if I sphere them, then I might actually stop them becoming a great power. Because we'll start using up their resources. Nobody else has invested in them, which is a surprise. I'm watching to see if this number goes down, because that's usually an indicator that the artisans are running out of money, but no, that's actually going up. And a whole bunch of things are being built. Probably the railroads. Yeah, this is why I like having a lot of capitalists, because they just get stuff done. And we're making money. Let's go ahead and repay the loan then. Debt-free. Alliance of the Palatinate. Now that's slightly more tempting. Although the Palatinate were just ruffle stomped by Austria. I don't even know where they are. Oh, there. What resources do you have? You have coal. And a lot of iron. You know what? You'd be a good choice. I'm going to ally with you and then I'm going to start also targeting you. Mission to Tunis. In a rather embarrassing blunder, several of our soldiers in the uniform of Tunis have been caught while trying to sneak across the border. While the rumours that their task was to stage a border incident to justify our invasion are totally unfounded, it would be wise not to provide any fresh fuel for the fire right now. And Austria can be reduced to 1. So I always leave it at least 1 because it gives us some control over those provinces in case somebody else tries to influence them. And it also means that they stay in this list, so I can always kind of keep an eye on them at a glance. It would be really nice if you could like add interesting, or you could flag nations as interesting so you can watch their opinion. That would be a nice change. But granted, this is an old game, unlikely to get any more updates. Although it did get one like a year ago. Wiz was bored apparently and decided to update it. Alright, arms industry is actually losing us money right now, but I like having arms industry for ourselves just in case we need the guns. It means we're not reliant on the world market during times of war. Ottomans want access? Ha! No. My second overall in industry is first. Castile is first. They also have the larger military right now. But only just. Castile is surprisingly strong at the moment. And I think I'm also going to build... Oh, I can't do men of war. I need a naval base. Can I build naval bases? I must be able to. Yes, I can. Yeah, I want a naval base there. And in Venice. Which will cost money. Okay, so we have the CB against Tunis. And we have apparently some troops down here which we can use. So we're going to go ahead and slow that down. We have a load of troops here actually. It's almost like I was preparing for this, unwittingly. So, let's increase you, let's increase you, let's increase you. Sorry, education. War comes first. Whoops, wrong one. I'm just going to reduce defense spending because we have a huge number of soldiers. So this number here, the 78 of 311, is kind of your force limits, but it's also your manpower. So basically, you have enough soldier population to maintain 311 units and have them reinforced. So right now I'm way under my limit, which is fine. Next thing I need to do is make sure that we have a decent general in charge. Ah. They've been auto-assigned. Okay, that's fine. We're still earning money. We're earning a lot of money. Alright. Let's increase education spending again and decrease tariffs because we don't want to punish my industrial efforts too heavily. As long as we stay mostly positive, I'm happy. 15% seems reasonable. Right, we wanted Libya, didn't we? which will be a relatively easy fight. 11 war score. Head over there. Okay, next thing I needed to do is work out where my generals are and then fire them all. Oh, auto assign is automatic, okay. Thankfully this is early game, so we don't have 1,000 generals yet. The artillery of Cyprus. Wow, that's really well placed. Alright, so that's all of our generals, so I only care about these guys right now. In fact, I care about you the most, because you're going to do the most fighting, I think. So we want somebody with a decent balance of attack and defense. Defense and morale, he's pretty good. Yeah, it's going to be you, Sevis. And over here we have another one. Our generals are rubbish. Probably you. That was one of the really nice things about Yas, actually. They start with a general who's a 3 attack, 2 defense. No, 2 attack, 3 defense. Which is ridiculous. It would be really nice if there was a symbol saying which armies had a general. Alright, and then who are they allied with? Songhai. So we will have troops possibly appearing. Where's the Navy? Navy should still be repairing, right? Yeah, they are. 5% strength. That's going to take a while for them to return to combat readiness. Bring these guys down to the coast in case I do need to ship them over. Libya. Proceed. Okay, so we are now at war with Tunis. And they are not at all ready for this. They have not got any morale. Good. Let's go take their capital. I'm going to give you a general. Won't Songhai attack us in Africa? They might try. We've actually got an army down here. Give you a general. That one. I mean, my regular armies are pretty well balanced, actually. 4 artillery, 1 cavalry, 5 infantry. That's alright. Ultimately we'll need more infantry, but that'd be right. Also, how is the influence thing going? I'm not gaining anything with Prussia. Has Prussia become a great power then? So I'm not sure why we're not getting any with Prussia. They are a secondary power right now. Did I lose all that wonderful drill and military tradition when I converted? Probably. Actually, that's a good question. I don't know if that gets converted. Because there's a way of doing it. Experience. No, we're all level 1 experience. That would be kind of cool, though, if it converted is experience, because you can get up to 5 stars. And I guess drill would be better quality generals. Well, currently that's definitely not reflected.